Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back here to another edition of Middle Mondays on Intuitive Angling. Much appreciated you guys checking the video out. And I know we got a small group of people that watch Middle Mondays here, not anything like the regular channel out there or the regular videos we do. So got sort of a Middle Monday club here, so appreciate you guys tuning in. All the regulars, very familiar with what we do here. If you're not familiar, if you're new to the channel, this is something we do once a week on Mondays. Just a departure from the fishing tips and the fishing. We talk just about a wide range of topics, so it's a good little break from the monotonous fishing tips out there. Today what I want to talk about is sort of a wide-ranging topic. I want to talk about and have a discussion on why is it that some people are thrust into life situations that just seem horrible or terrible or not near as fortunate as other people. Why do some people seem to have all the privileges and opportunities that come with living life, and other people just struggle from the beginning. And obviously everything's in between that too. But the reason I wanted to talk about this is something that I saw a couple days ago. I was actually on my way down to Table Rock Lake early in the morning. It was still dark out. It was like and it was just a little bit after 6 o'clock. And it was pretty cold out. It was like wind was blowing. It was about 20 some miles an hour. And I was pulled up to get gas at the Come and Go gas station here in Springfield. And when I walked in to grab a few things inside the store, there was this lady that was obviously homeless. She had one of those grocery carts full of just everything hanging out over the end, and she looked like she was in pretty rough shape. I mean, her hair was all crazy, and she had looked like clothes that were 50 years old on. Just really felt sorry for her looking at like that. And anyway, she put her cart up, and the whole time she was like mumbling, like just talking to herself. You've seen people out there, especially, seems like they flock to convenience stores. So I walked in, and she walked in behind me, and I held the door open for her. And it was odd because she just walked right in. She didn't even acknowledge, not that I am asking for a thank you, but she didn't even look at me or anything. She just like mumbled past me and walked in and went back in the corner of the store back there and just sat down, like just sat down on the floor, and it made me think, I just felt unbelievably sorry for her. I've seen a lot of people like that, and just, can only speculate on what her story is. And it got me thinking a little bit about why is it in life that we have people that experience that type of an existence, and then other people, like I said, that have just they're firing on all 8 cylinders, everything's perfect, everything in between there. So I got some theories on that. It's just theory. I know because once we start talking about this, there's no way you can really have a definitive answer on this. Now, the obvious thing is like, why some people seem to be successful and happy at life versus people on the other end of the spectrum, like that woman that I saw. It's a variety of things. I mean, her situation it could have had something to do with drugs. It could have had something to do with some type of mental illness or schizophrenia. I mean, most of the people, or a lot of the people that you see homeless and on the streets, they've got some form of schizophrenia. They're just unable to function in society. And unfortunately, they wind up in that situation. So it's a combination of things, like I said, drugs, mental illness. It could be some type of a traumatic or abusive home life that put people in that position. And opposite from that, it's like, from the starting point, it's like one of the things that's really important, I think, and one of the things I always try to stress is that if you take the equation of drugs and mental illness out of the equation, a lot of it has to do with your upbringing, your peer group, about how people wind up, the situations they wind up. And that's why it is so critical to parents out there, people that have raised children, that they are provided the best foundation to enter life with. And that foundation has to do with stability, positivity, support, consistency, love, a lot of different things out there. So many of I can't remember what the statistic was, but it's like when children come from a broken home or divorce, or they've got some type of turmoil or trauma or abuse on whatever level, they tend to, struggle in life. That's a huge negative right off the bat. So it's really, really important that we give children a strong foundation and a strong start, and that goes with being, responsible parents. And I don't. It's like that people need, that should be like mandatory taught in schools. Like, we have these courses like, say for example, physics and algebra, which I struggled through, and I never used in my whole life. Why can't something like that be replaced with how to be a good parent? How to how to live life right from the start, and educate people on some of those things as far as communication and skills that people need as they get older in life. But those are the main elements right there. And but what happens if you go beyond that, it's like a lot of times there's no explanation, because I've seen situations where people have come from good homes and they just turn, something just happens where they don't make it. It's like they wind up, destitute, or they wind up in jail, or they wind up in trouble of some type. It's like there's sometimes there's an element that we do not understand what causes it. And this is just observation on my part. I'm no mental health expert or no social service expert like that. But sometimes people wind up in mysterious situations for no obvious reason whatsoever. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about this as far as life in general, about, why is it that, there's a 6-year-old child in Ukraine that's going to be scarred the rest of their lives because of some war criminal bombing their country every day. And then on the other end of the spectrum, there's 6-year-old children across different parts of the world that have these vibrant, healthy, upbringings that with all the privileges afforded to any type of a child. And that's just one example. You can look at many, many examples about how people are really fortunate, or they're unfortunate, or they have living conditions that are nothing short of horrific. So at some point, it's like once you look past the obvious, like the mental illness and the drug and the abuse, or being raised how they were raised, and you still can't figure an answer out, you have to like look at the bigger picture, almost like from a third party perspective. And from what I have seen, and I've talked to people, I've studied countless of philosophies and religions, and talked to people, and I've really tried to be an observer of the human experience in my life, throughout my life so far. And one of the things that I'll throw out there with it, it's like the only thing that makes sense to me. Now, there's obviously you can't prove any of this, or you can't prove any belief system, because a belief system is simply that, it's your own belief. But the only thing that really makes sense to me in a situation like that is like if you consider the fact that, we are eternal beings, our souls are eternal, which, intuitively I feel like that they are. Maybe on some level, that if this is some never-ending adventure and experience we're on, maybe some souls out there choose to experience certain life situations for the sake of experience, in ways that we don't understand. It's like, why would somebody put themselves on a path of pain and suffering if they could choose not to be there? And that's the only thing that makes sense to me. And it does, we can't quantify that or equate that. But beyond that, there's really no answers to that. I can't, it's hard for me to accept the fact that it's some random chaotic event that somebody like that woman I saw it come and go winds up like that. And then somebody else is like graduating summa cum laude and has got job offers and got great relationships and is just, killing life out there, everything they do, and everybody's in between that. So I don't know. That's just, like I said, that's just sort of a theory I got out there about it. I mean, everybody's got their own viewpoint and their theory, but it really sort of, and I've seen people like that before, like that woman. It's not like this is the first time. We've all seen hundreds of people. You can't hardly drive. You can't drive down Springfield here in Missouri or any town without seeing somebody with a sign wanting help at a street corner. So every time I see somebody like that, it makes me wonder, why they're in a situation like that, or people that have horrific events or situations thrust upon them. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I just thought it was an interesting topic to discuss out there. And, it's just one of those, it's a good mental Monday topic, in other words. So anyway, guys, much appreciated you tuning in. Thanks a lot. And we'll see you next week for another one.